on to YTCSC. It's Brian here and Roberto. We just wanted to jump on today just for a little update, get some feedback from you on the latest news coming out of Celtic Park. As always, please, guys, we're past the 600 subscriber mark now, so if you could help us out by liking, sharing, subscribing the video and the channel, that would be much appreciated. So, Robert, how are you, mate? How's things been? How's your week been so far?
Very well, Brian. Very well. Hi, guys. How are we? So just been busy, and there's obviously a bit to talk about just now, so I'm looking forward to it.
Aye, same here, mate. It's been a busy week. You see a lot of rumours in and out. Lager Bielka getting a medical at Braga. Would you make of that one, mate? Do you think he was just never really got a chance, or what was your opinion on Lager Bielka?
I thought he was a steady player, but he was in and out the team for a long time. And like most players, if they're not getting game time, they need to go elsewhere. So when he went out on loan, he never really got a chance. So you know yourself, Brian, these guys just want to play football.
Yes, totally, mate. And I think when he went on loan to Twente, and then when he came back, I think he put a message on Instagram. It was kind of, it was more like it was sad to leave Twente on it. I think he'd washed his hands of Celtic. He's probably been told privately with Brendan Rodgers or whatever that he's not going to feature in his plans. But I thought it's a shame when you see these players, because you want them to work out, you want them to do well. But I don't know. I just think this is just my personal opinion. I think our defence is very light, man. It's very, very weak. I don't see us having those big. CCV's phenomenal, an amazing, amazingly strong defender, but we're seeing a lot of rumours that he's
injured again,
and stuff like that, mate. So we need somebody to, kind of cement that place. I don't know what the chat's saying. Robert, have you got access to the chat, my man? Are you able to go on there?
No.
Right, I'm trying to log on to it myself, mate, but it's not.
I just feel at the minute, I'm hoping now that the guys have started pre-season again, and I've seen a few of the interviews with the manager, and whether this is going to be his last season, I just hope that he's got a bigger plan. The players that has came in, and I know we'll probably touch on this in a minute, but I just want to make sure that we get into the new campaigns after pre-season with a relatively decent squad.
Aye, exactly, mate. It looks like there's I think there's going to be a lot of ins and outs, man. It looks like there's a lot of, they're trying to 2 seconds, mate. What's happening, fellow Tim? Street Shitter, top man, always comments. Good to see you on the live, mate. Thank you very much for your continued support. It seems to be, I don't know, it might be the legacy of Brendan's first season. Nawrocki, Lager Bielka, Tilio, Thiago Holm, all these players that we got in, none of them, with the exception of Yang, maybe. I think Yang was that season, wasn't he?
Yang's even last season. He's been in and out the team.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if he's been rumoured to go somewhere.
I read that. I'm trying to think. Who was it? Was it 2 seconds? Legia Warsaw, I think, wasn't it? Some a Polish team. Legia Warsaw had inquired about him. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out, because I like Yang, but he's kind of in and out. Sometimes you see him when he comes off the bench and he's like, wow, man, he's really direct when you're, when Kuhns went off but yeah, so it'd be interesting to see. But I'd like to see I'd like to see Yang Steinmeier getting a chance, or staying within the squad, and maybe building on the kind of after bench appearances, maybe try and stake his claim in the team. I also saw
some of the guys will know that, but there's a footballer in there, but he's going to in my opinion, he's always going to be a squad player.
Aye, I think so. And we're getting the guy Nygren in, who's a kind of number 8. I saw Brendan Rodgers' comments that he consulted Michael Essien, who works for Nordsjælland in Denmark. He's on the coaching setup. And Essien, you know, he was a phenomenal player, great midfielder, phenomenal at Chelsea. And I think Brendan knew him because he started off at Chelsea, didn't he? Kind of youth. And he basically gave that Nygren a good write up. And I think Brendan came out and said that he's like, he likes to look at him, his quality, and the Northern European, the Scandinavian guys tend to settle better in Scotland. So yes, hopefully. I think there'll be a bit of movement, mate. Also, some rumours were kind of, it's more rumours going out, innit? You know, Lagerbielke, Yang, Greg Taylor finally made his move to POAK. Did you see his comment to Chris Boyd?
No.
Mate.
I seen the video. I seen the video he's transferred Greg Taylor in.
Hail to Paddy Boy. Thanks for joining us tonight, mate. So obviously there was a rumour. I don't know if it was because Taylor started. He was on the Rangers youth, wasn't he? So he was involved in Rangers, and people said he grew up a Rangers fan, which is cool, man. You know, we all get an early illness that we need to shake off. You know what I mean? But Boyd had commented on his Instagram post, and Chris Boyd was like, "Oh, is that you back to supporting the famous with 3 blue hearts?" And Greg Taylor went, "Nah, mate, world's most successful club for me and 3 green hearts." And I was like, brilliant, man, absolutely brilliant. So I have to say, it was sad to see Greg Taylor go. We've done a few videos on the channel about it, mate. Hopefully him and Katie would work out together, but obviously not. We wish him all the best, mate. We wish him all the best.
He's been there 6 years, so he's just had a brand new family there, and I think he feels it's another chapter of his footballing career. It's going to be interesting. I would have liked to see him stay. Domestically, he was a stalwart for us, but with KT coming back, I don't think he wanted to play second fiddle, which is understandable, especially when you're the number 1 in that position for so long, and then you get ousted as maybe a bit part player, depending on how KT's fitness is. But I don't think it was a gamble he was willing to take. So it's not often that Celtic let these guys go for free. They normally capitulate another deal for them, maybe within the last 2 years of their contract, and then if another team comes in, they get some money back. But it was there to be for Greg Taylor. They just windowed his contract down and down and down, and then he went away for a free. So I would like to have made a wee bit of money because he's still a player.
So a sellable asset.
In his prime. So, and he was an asset. So I don't like sometimes Celtic doing that sort of business because we're used to the player trading model when players are there for a sustainable amount of time and we still get some sort of money back for them. We're familiar with that over the years, but very best of luck to him. He's away. So that chapter closes for us. A new one begins with him. So all the best to him.
Aye, totally, man. It goes with our blessing, and I don't know, just my personal opinion. Remember, Rodgers was coming out saying, "Oh, we can work with the tourism and all that, and you know, they'll dovetail nicely and all that." I think deep down, Rodgers probably knows he's not going to get a full season every game at a KT. You know what I mean? So he's maybe trying to sell that to Greg Taylor, and he's obviously no bought it or whatever. But I wish him all the best. One goes out, one comes in. I've seen we officially announced young Callum Osmond from Fulham. He had his kind of photo shoot in his first interview. Did you catch any of the content, mate?
I seen some of the video. Again, everybody's reference point is YouTube, and some of he's came through the Fulham Academy. He's still a young player. It'll be interesting. He's only 19. But the consensus, a lot of the fans that I'm hearing with is that we're still getting some of these guys in for free as a project players. And again, other people are still saying, well, why is Celtic going back to the project route? We want sustainable, experienced players in, especially if we want to kind of capitulate the Champions League.
Yeah.
I don't quite. I'm still trying to figure that balance. I really don't know what Brendan's overall picture is. Is he want to get these pre-season games out of the way, see what's available in the summer, get the league started? I mean, I read a caption the other day there, and again, the guys will comment on this. We're going to start a Champions League multi-million pound campaign with Scales. Because, again, I don't know. I mean, I don't mind Scales, but CCV's injured. He's. I'm fathoming how to.
I mean, the thing is, this is never. I totally mean. The thing is, this is never personal. This is never personal against Liam Scales, and 100%. Liam, I called him Scaldini often enough. I thought the big guy was phenomenal. He said he'd done some great performances for us. Also in Europe, you know what I mean. I think what was the game he scored? The header. Was it a Bratislava game that he started at half?
Bratislava.
So yeah, definitely. But we used to do that. Like, we'll try and qualify. Then if we get the guarantee of the money, then we'll go and spend the money, and we always get parked out. And we go, why don't you buy on the presumption? So it seems
it's
a bit
like Welsh. Like Welsh is back in the building. I've seen that. The pre-season started in Friday there. Welsh's came back. And me personally, I've got a wee bit of soft spot. Andy grows up Celtic and they've got Celtic at heart. But sometimes you need to see past that and what's good for the team. And especially with this campaign ready to start after the pre-season. Welsh and Scales are...
You're panicking, aren't you? Totally, but obviously he's Stephen Welsh. I watched the kind of Lennoxtown Unfiltered, the training montage and stuff, and you've seen him coming in, and obviously he is still a Celtic player. So if his loan's finished, he's got to come back and he's got to train with the team, whatever. But I think he will leave because it's better for him. You know what I mean? Because we all want the young boys.
He's football.
Totally. We all grew up in the Lisbon Lions and the Quality Street gang with young boys coming through, and we loved them and we idolised them. But it's a different world now. Just to go back to the kind of Callum Osman thing, I mentioned it on my video on Sunday. You know, we're trying to we're listening to offers for Johnny Kenny. You know what I mean? And then on the other side, we've brought in a young boy at 300 grand. So do they? Paul Tisdale, Rogers, the recruitment team, do they see that Osmond is more of a sell-on value than Johnny Kenny? You know what I mean? So you get rid of him, bring in Osmond to replace Kenny. He smashes it. Young, I know he's Welsh, but he's obviously had exposure to the English league. You know, do you get him back down there? And he knows O'Reilly. He spoke to Matt O'Reilly, so he came for that academy. So O'Reilly would have gave him. Would you call it a lot of good advice? But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I think it was Arsene Wenger. It says I don't look at a passport. I just look at a player. You know what I mean? So you hopefully comes in and does well. But yeah, it's like at the detriment of your own. You know what I mean? Young boys that are coming.
It's the same scenario. Celtic are they think long term and get these project players in as cheap as possible. And after 3-4 years or 3 years, if anybody comes calling and they hit a bit of form, anything upwards 10 million, Celtic. They've done it with Frimpong back in the day.
John Cook just posted on the subject of Osmond. Usman, we wish. Moussa Dembele was 19 when he came for Fulham, came on to score a hat-trick against the Zombies. Didn't work out too bad. Exactly. Great shout, John. Dembele was a Hun scalper extraordinaire, and he still is. He loves winding him up on X or Instagram, whatever. But yeah, And I think, let's be real, young English 19-year-olds or young boys that are exposed to the English system are probably at a higher level than the boys that are playing in the Lowland League and the B League and stuff like that. So hopefully it does well, and I'd like to see some more young boys coming through. On that subject, I see young Daniel Cummins was announced at West Ham. Some of the West Ham chat I've seen that they're buzzing at. Mark Noble, West Ham legend, ex-captain, says he's the type of player that he loves to see West Ham bring in. Cummins came out and said that he saw a pathway at West Ham, which is, a bit of a damning indictment with Celtic. If we didn't see it there. What's your thoughts on that one, young Cummins?
Cummins, I've seen him a few times playing, and he's had 50 odd appearances for Celtic, and within that time he scored 30 odd goals. The boy's got a bit of ability, and he's got a lot of potential. But you've touched on it in previous videos with the Celtic Academy. There's players that you could go back to with Karamoko Dembele, Ben Doak, even Rocco Vata, Daniel Kelly, all these players.
All these boys before.
They've all come through the academy, and Celtic released them, which I find bizarre. I don't understand the purpose of you want to breed these guys in. We were talking about it in Sunday there. I think now with Celtic setting a rod for their own back with the Champions League, they want that consistent success. So see the Champions League purse, which hopefully would driven by better quality of players to maintain their domestic league form, because that's, well, I think we'll get 5 in a row anyway.
Well,
I don't. Domestic success is one thing, but getting the right quality of player in for the right price, and again, rather than going around in circles with buying in £11 million Engels and £9 million Ida, I really don't see a path for these young guys in the academy. I don't understand. But you've got a £9 million player, £11 million player in a domestic Scottish Cup final. At the end of the 90 minutes, they're on the bench. It just baffles me. It baffles me.
On the kind of subject of the youth, it would come out today that 7 Celtic football clubs, sorry, it was yesterday, delighted to announce the latest group of youngsters have signed their first professional contracts. Hassan Dembele, Nathan Meakin, Joseph Haney, Rocco Di Giacomo, Emmanuel Obidiwe, Lucas Cleary and Caden Daly have all put pen to paper. So these are all young boys starting out. So you always need to, I think it was Alex Ferguson says when he went to Manchester United, that they had 2 scouts in the whole of the city. They just flooded the place to try and get as many young boys as possible.
Look at the class of 92.
And even before that, Lee Sharp and all that, you know what I mean? They were great players, but I think it's something that we need to work, we need to do better. We need to do better with our youth. I think the Lowland League, I don't know if that's the competition that that will get them the experience. You know, when we come up against our European counterparts in the youth league, you know, it's the same. You know, if we play youth Bratislava, we'll probably beat them. But if we play youth Dortmund, then they wipe the flowers. It seems that we're at the same level throughout the club. You know what I mean? There's no one age group or one that's kind of smashing it. So yeah, so the youth is something we need to do better on, mate. We need to do better on, definitely.
You know yourself, 16, 17, 18, all you want to do is play football. All you want to do is play regular football.
Totally, but nowadays,
that's what I wanted to do.
Aye, that was it. I say that my ways I knew I had was a bike and a ball. When you grew up, you had a bike and a ball. You were out, you'd play football. You're out on the bike till it was dark, till you're starving. Then you came back in, and funnily enough, that's when kind of Scotland went to the under-16s World Cup final at Hampden. We were qualifying for tournaments left, right, and centre. We were playing on the bigger leagues. Well, dominating English league. So maybe there's something. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. There's my man Plunge. He's looking for us to say bonjour, Eric.
Even in, I was just about to say, even in
Love that.
Even in France, where I grew up,
yes, yeah. We used to play on the boulevards. Yeah.
The Champs-Élysées.
Me personally, I was just noncing my daughter-in-law at my wife. Thanks very much. Already's there. There's not this absolute scumbag. This is a guy that just constantly comments on a Celtic website, not Brett May. Absolutely obsessed with child abuse. So thank you very much for your comment, mate. Lovely to have you on board. Thanks for the views. You're absolute wronging. So basically, we're just looking to get a wee update. It came out today, mate, that the season ticket had sold out. So if you're on the waiting list, you're still on the waiting list. We've spoke about it before. There is a demand. I think the last we had was 18,000, something like that. 18,000 were on the waiting list. So, what do you make of that, mate? Do you think it's, there's got to be something done to try and get more fans?
We've discussed it before, and it's that 18,000 in the wait list isn't going to go away anytime soon. So
we're going to get more if we get more successful.
There's people who's been on the waiting list for 5, 6, 7 years longer, and I'm led to believe the emails I've dropped today saying you've been unsuccessful. So as you've touched on it before, and we've discussed it in previous videos, you need to wait for a family member to pass, or you need to wait for somebody. It's not going to happen unless they, again, as we've discussed before, they expand the stadium.
Yeah, and I don't think there's much of an appetite for that. But the rewards are there, mate. You know what I mean? If you can get the extra season ticket revenue, corporate revenue, etc. But it's a big investment. You know what I mean? I think it was a few years ago that we were talking about 100 million to do it, and the rest. You know what I mean?
Let me ask yourself, Brian, and some of the guys, where do you think Celtic will spend marquee signings this season? What
where
position?
do I think they will, or where would I hope they would? I hope they would spend it up front with an absolute cold stone killer up front. But in defence, they need to have, as I mentioned, there's some a better defender. But I think it seems to be what Brendan's mentioned about the kind of more attacking areas. I think he's wanting more quality in the attacking areas. So when you look at the cup final, mate, when you strip it away, when you take your Engels, your Ida, you know what I mean, the main Hatate, stuff like that. After 2 or 3 substitutions, man, you're thinning the ground. You know what I mean? So I'd hope they would strengthen up front and in the back. Midfield, there's like 800 central midfielders kicking about. So I would hopefully be up front and at the back. What about yourself? What you think?
No, I agree. But we've always touched on what type of player that we need. Does Kalmak need a bit of hand in there? Does Hatate support him enough? Does Engels support him enough? I think the jury's going about in Engels. The word that I'm hearing is he's got to, or does he need to fulfil the price tag?
I don't know, man. It seems to be a stick that you beat. Why is that clown's comment still on the screen? I don't know.
So it'll be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting.
Aye. Let me see. I don't know why I get that Goon's comment on the screen. 2 seconds.
But we definitely it'll be interesting this season to make sure that Brendan does everything he can, because the expectations there to win domestic trophies, and especially when me personally, I'm optimistic that we'll qualify for the Champions League again.
Yeah, totally, man, totally. When is the qualifier? August, isn't it? August some point.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Aye, so
Start of
big,
August.
big focus on that, mate. We need to qualify, because if we don't, then it's, you know, you're selling an asset. That's the way it is. The player trading model is you bring them in, buy low, sell high. But if you don't, an asset goes. You know what I mean? We've done that before. Even done it, you know, with O'Reilly. You know what I mean? Cashing in. So yes, it'll be interesting to see who we get. Are we seeded? I'm not too sure if it's come out, kind of where we are.
And see, the thing is, I heard Brendan the last quarter, his press conference, the money that Celtic get for the Champions League, or the money that Celtic have got in the bank, is self-generated. So the money's there to be spent.
Mate,
absolutely, James Smith, I totally agree with you. And we need a henchman in there that can offer a bit of dig. 100%. But I just personally just don't want that other side of the city to qualify, because they need the cash. And I just want Celtic to run away with everything domestically again.
Same here. I don't know, man. I know I put a wee thing about David Murray, but that was just a response to him coming out with about Peter Lawwell. Like, mate, you're deluded. But I don't know how they're going to go, man. I've been reading some things today that the owners, the 49ers, or the Kavanagh and whatever, are in there to kind of make a buck. You know what I mean? There's no emotional investment. You know what I mean? They're in there to make a profit. They'll be trimming the wage bill, but whatever, mate. We'll see how it goes, man. But I think we need to focus on ourselves and focus on
definitely
what we need to do to improve. As Guy James, I think we do need that. Sometimes I feel, this is just my personal opinion, Callum McGregor is a phenomenal player, one of Scotland's absolute best, one of Celtic's best. Love him, he's amazing, but sometimes I feel he's not that. You know what I mean? He's not a Scott Brown, and I know it's two different players.
No.
You had Brown, you knew for a fact that, you know, the Aberdeen game when they're putting the ball off him and all that, that takes the pressure off the other players. He's like, I'll take a lot of it, bounce the ball off me, I'm the man, I'm the Bruni, I'll take the lot he's on, and that leaves the rest of them there. McGregor, don't get me wrong, I know he's a Glasgow boy, and I'm pretty sure he'll be like Hono selling on it, but
he's not got that ferocity. He's not got the ferocity.
Aye. But, you know, but sometimes you do need that. And when you've got players run about you that are new and they don't understand the dig about it, and like, couldn't, you know, some of these players are like, they'll not go in there and run through walls. But McGregor, you know, tells him to do that. But I think it was different with Brown, with Scott Brown. I think the other players knew that if that was your guy, that was your leader. That's the expectations. So yeah.
Well, as a wise man once says, he'd get into the trenches with him. Brown was that sort of leader. I don't think McGregor's that type of player. Definitely. Just going back onto the transfers, have you heard anything else about Kuhn?
Not really,
I know Leipzig they're still sniffing.
The last I heard was obviously, it was paper talk that came out, it was mentioned with Como, but then Como went and spent 28 million euros on Rodriguez for Betis, young winger. So that told me that he was their main target. But no, I think he will go, mate. I think he'll go. I think it might have been already agreed, whatever, because I heard rumours that he was trying to push for a move in January after the Champions League success, and he was a big high profile. Modern football agents are doing that, you know what I mean? Oh, my client's not very happy at Celtic, you know, blah blah blah, I'd like to come back. Next minute's paper talk. So I think, you know, some players they might just no feel it as much as, you know what I mean, they don't have it. They'll love the trophies and blah blah blah. But you've seen that with a chat. I don't think he's fully bought in, and I think he'd rather go. He's another man that, you know, like, you want to run through a brick wall for Celtic, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think he'll go. I think he'll go. I was looking at something there about another one of our earlier targets. I don't know if it's whatever Sondra or Yaster, a Norwegian winger. We're having a look here, but someone's saying that he's going to ask for 7 million. So I don't know. I think the wide areas are somewhere we're going to look, but I think it'll be a mad dash at the end of it. I think we're waiting to get a lot out. You know what I mean? Like Lager Bielka and stuff like that, to see how much we've got to play with. But even regardless of that, you've still got 70 odd million in the bank. You've made this, you've made that. So they should be. We don't know. I think the window with Engels and Ida, obviously 20 million, blah blah blah. But apart from that, what else came out as a shining light for the transfer window? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean we're talking about season tickets, and it's a full stadium and it's sold out. There's going to be the average man that is they going to accept a Callum Osmond and a free transfer, a Benji Nigren at 1.5 million. It's just not going to happen. They're spending £600-700 a year to watch them, and they bring in another 2 or 3 projects, but no bring in a marquee signing. It needs to happen very, very soon, I feel.
James Smith here, thanks for the comment, mate. He's like, the team's too soft. I've heard Como are putting one more bid in or walking. I agree with that. I think there is a lot of elements to the team that's soft, that can be got at, you know what I mean, in terms of roughed up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting point. He's also asked about Nawrocki. I've said it before. I like big Nawrocki. I liked how he passes through the lines. He seems to be more confident on the ball. I like him, but I don't know if it's a thing that him and Brendan Rodgers have no. Because he gets a wee shot, he does well, does decent. Fans will be like, I thought the big man played well. No seen again. So yeah, I like big Nawrocki. I think he would have been a better option than Scales and Trusty at certain points. So I like him. What about yourself?
I would keep him. No, I would. That's a very good shout. I like him. In the last few games before he got dropped, which I don't know why. He never done much wrong. No, I would definitely keep him. But it's a balancing act for him for Brendan, because he's brought Trusty in last year. He spent a good few millions on him.
Mm-hmm.
If that guy stays fit, does he stick with him? There's options there, but who's going to be the ones that's going to see the team through the season?
I make the grade. James also backs up his comments saying he would keep Nawrocki's backup for CCV. CCV might be back up for Nawrocki if we're hearing with his injury record and stuff like that. So, what do you make of that? What do you think is going on with CCV? Because he seems to be getting.
I feel for CCV because he came to us on loan, and between him and Jota, a lot of people were like, "I'll take one or over the other," and CCV was your backbone. And then the first spell, Celtic bought the two of them. But since then, I'm led to believe he's the second highest paid player there. And whether over the next few seasons he's angling to get away from Celtic, if his stock's high, but he can't go anywhere if he's constantly injured. Teams down south are going to look at him and think, there's your cash value, and they'll come in at basement dollar for him if it's a conundrum for him, because that's a good few injuries he's in the last 18 months, which it doesn't look good for him. He's a solid player. Don't get me wrong. He's a solid player, and he's a stalwart for us, and he's been an absolute phenomenal signing. But the thing that's beating him is he's injuries.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Some team down in England, might have a better budget, might just go like that. Well, take a punt on him for 5 million, see if you can get 15, 20 games out of him. You know what I mean? That doesn't. But I think it needs to be more regular, more consistent. I'm not too sure what's going on with him. There was a talk last season. Remember, he was like was his horn or something like that? I don't know, something. And he was like, "Oh, they're just managing it, and they were just managing it, and just he was getting wee games in it." But we're a worse team without him, because he's definitely solid. But you need consistency. You need somebody so they're always going to be there that you can rely on, because he's our best. He's our best defender.
It definitely affects the team, and it affects how Celtic play in some cases. But we need them rather than we don't need them. But he's tipping the scales of, in my opinion, is he needs to sort his injuries out. It's becoming once a season, twice a season now since he's been here. When he gets injured, it's not a surprise.
Aye, James. James Smith again. He's always out at the start of the season. He never seems to start a season. And I don't know if it's just me, but is pre-season not supposed to be where you're at your fittest? You know what I mean? Prove your fitness to start the season well.
To speed.
But it'd be interesting. We obviously don't know. The poor guy might be going through a hell of a lot of time, a bad time, his injuries. But it just from an outsider looking in, you're like, what's going on here? But we definitely.
I don't know if it was the tail end of last season. He went through. He was on painkiller. He was going through the injections.
That's what I'm thinking about, man. It was like
he went through the injections, and he took last pre-season to recover. So James is spot on there. He didn't. I don't think he started last season.
Mental.
But it'll be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting.
I'm looking at transfer marks, right? So I don't know if I can get this on the screen actually. But I'm basically saying his injury record: hamstring, knee surgery, ankle injury, ankle sprain. Missed 9 games, 13 games, 6 games, 9 games, 4 games. You know what I mean? So you're not getting the best use out of your best players, and it leaves your team in a worse position. So yes, I definitely think defence is, the guys in the chat said, defence has to be an area of focus for us going forward. Because if Lagerbielke's away, Welsh if he goes, I think it was Mechelen in Belgium are looking to give him a permanent contract. Lagerbielke, Welsh, Nawrocki, and then where does that leave you? CCV,
Trusty, Scales, CCV.
Don't get me wrong, we've got young boys, Dane Murray and stuff like that I think Brendan likes the look of. So I don't know what their plans are for the season, but we definitely were light behind at the back, mate. And obviously with the left back as well, we've got Tierney, Taylor's away. Who else? I don't know who our left backs are. Schlupp, he's left, he's gone. You know what I mean? I don't know. He'll come back.
He was on loan, he's away again. So we definitely need cover there.
James asked the question, mate, how many more players do you think we need in total?
Me personally, I think minimum 4. And I don't know if that's been too greedy. But
4 more than what? Aye. Totally, mate. Totally.
I would say, minimum 4. As you said, left back, another centre half. If you're going to even get another midfielder in there, and obviously we need cover in the wing, because Jota, we feel, is not going to be back. And the rumour is, or the consensus is, he's going to be out till February.
Aye, totally, mate. Totally.
We definitely need cover there in a few positions.
Jamesy boy's just won the lottery. He's like, I want 9, including the 4 we have already. James, for every £5 you spend, Smith brilliant, mate. 100%. We do need, you know, the more the merrier. You'd rather have too many than no enough. Let's be completely honest with you. Rab, any final thoughts, mate, before we wrap it up for tonight?
No, so I'm just looking forward to the pre-season starting on Friday. Although it's going to be with Queen's Park, and then I think moving on to Cork in the 8th. So I've seen Brendan's interview. He's looking forward to taking the squad back to Ireland. So that's going to be pretty good. And then I think we're off to Portugal. We've got a couple of games in Portugal. Where I think is it Australia, and then Sporting. I don't know. I think it's Sporting. So that'll take us right up to mid-July, and then I think we've got Newcastle.
Aye, 2 seconds.
And then after Newcastle, we've got the Italian. But again, this will be Brendan's chance to see how some of these guys fare. But during that, I hope that there's a lot of work in the background. We're getting kind of stalwart players in. But I'm going to look forward to the pre-season games just to see where everybody's at.
Can you see that, mate? It's a kind of pre-season schedule.
I've got we've got Queen's Park. Yep.
Then Cork, then Sporting, then Newcastle. I've got a ticket. Me and the boys going to the Newcastle game, and then Ajax, and then Como. So depending on how well we're doing that, we could be playing right up to the 27th of July. So interesting to see how the pre-season works out. You know what I mean? What new players will be coming in? What new players will or what players will be going? So interesting to see how it pans out, mate. But thanks for your time, Roberto. You're always a mainstay, mate.
Thank you very much. Thanks for watching.
And thanks everybody. Apart from not you, Brett, you're an absolute wrong, and we don't want you back. But no doubt you will be back because you're a raging Hun who loves talking about child abuse, which is, if in doubt, you know, cheat your way out. That's a Rangers philosophy. All right, but thanks very much to everybody. Thanks for the support, and we'll see you on the next one. Hail, hail, troops.
Hail, hail.
Cheers, guys.